The Avalanches, We Will Always Love You. It is 25 songs long, an hour and 11 minutes long, and goddamn the Avalanches. We did a bonus episode on them recently. You could just check that out. But the gist of it is that they're an Australian duo. They started in 2000 with their debut album, Since I Left You. And their style is called plunderphonics. They essentially take old samples and recordings from music genres of all kinds and throw them together and make music out of them.
Like similar to that, like Daft Punk without being strictly electronic music.
Yeah, they're making electronic and hip hop, trip hop kind of music generally. Exactly. But yeah, they're
sampling a bunch of other stuff and doing a lot with sounds.
Yeah, and we're talking like thousands, in their earlier albums, thousands and thousands of samples. Yeah. There's a big gap between their first and second album.
Yes, like a
Wildflower, or it was 16 years.
16 year.
Yeah,
yep.
Wildflower came out in like 2016, 2017-ish. It was very different as a concept, but still kept a lot of the Avalanches style. And now you have a third album, which is very interesting because once you get a third album, you get to really see a broad range of an artist's like depth and width and where they're willing to go and able to go. And god damn.
I was joking with Dan, like when we were kind of going through, can I just go back to this album because I just want to listen to this album some more. There's a lot and there is a lot in here. By the way, it is 25 songs, an hour and 11 minutes. A lot of the songs are like Humans, where it's like that kind of filler, the bridge stuff.
Yeah.
But it makes sense in the context of the album because literally there are genre bending completely, like 7 different genres into one song or one album where you need something to bridge it up, or else you'll have a trap song mixed with a glitchy EDM weirdness mixed with some like daydream pop, like it's just you need stuff to be able to do that.
And let me put my cards on the table. I think if you actually like put a gun to my head and told me to name the best like people who can like put together an album in the way an album can be constructed, it's probably the Avalanches.
Yeah.
In a sense that like the album should go together, the songs should go and flow through together, and they very much do that, and that's the way they've always done. Every Avalanches album kind of has a theme, less so with Wildflower. But Since I Left You, their first one was kind of like an international love dance record. And this one is about death and like passing and all of those different things. And so the entire album is decidedly, especially for the Avalanches, kind of not somber necessarily, but quiet.
Melancholy,
very
silent, no, quiet, muted. Basically, it's like the great way to describe it.
This album doesn't have a Frankie Sinatra or Frontier Psychiatrist.
No. But it's ridiculously good.
Well, let's go into it, and then we'll start to get into the production as well.
Yep.
So yeah, you just like...
Ghost Story starts off, it's just like a little like opening track or one. It's a minute long, just random voices in the background and stuff, just kind of... just. No,
the Avalanches are a really good thing where like they do the motifs through this album. Again, like the first one was the horse hooves for Frontier Psychiatrist. This is like a message, maybe like a last message left from like a loved one who is passing on, saying like, you'll always have my voice, I'll always be here, like giving some like calming messages, which go throughout, again, the theme of the album. You get Song for Barbara Payton, and it's very kind of classic like Avalanches style in that you are getting some like looping really nice track to go together. It sounds like it's jazz, and like it's sampled from like oldies music in general.
Yes.
But what you'll kind of start to notice with this album is that you'll see features and featured artists, and they're kind of acting as the sample.
That's the interesting thing I was going to get into, because We Will Always Love You with Blood Orange.
Title track, third track.
Yep. And this is the song like to get you into the album and to hear what the sound is. This is like the perfect song for it. It's that like bridging the thing of like lo-fi hip hop beats to study to, mixed with a lot of experimental different sounds and stuff to upbeat you, almost like some of like graduation era Kanye, like of that really nice hip hop beats into it. And it's cool because you can hear some of the samples in the background, almost like choir sounds and other stuff. Plus then Blood Orange does like his vocals and stuff on it are really good in it.
Yeah.
So this is like a perfect track to kind of represent everything. And it's a great like third thing, and like this will set you up for the album, especially. Great title track.
Right after that, Divine Chord featuring Johnny Marr and MGMT.
Johnny fucking Marr and MGMT. Johnny Marr, by the way, if you don't know what Johnny fucking Marr is, that's what Brandon Flowers called Johnny Marr. He went up to stage in Glastonbury last year. And then MGMT, one of my favorite bands. Everyone knows my love for MGMT.
Little Dark Age was one of the Audioface Award winners.
Woo, that was a good album.
And again, like, this sounds like the Avalanches sampled MGMT.
It literally sounds like it, because if you are like a big MGMT head like I am, this sounds like some of the demos and stuff from Oracular Spectacular days and some of it. But then it's definitely, I could see his curly, weird-ass hair. I cannot think of his name, but the vocals for MGMT. It's his voice going on in the background on it and everything. And it's cool where it's just like bumping it back and forth. And it's like, it's a really good beat on it. Almost sounds like a Christmas theme on it. Yeah, Andrew, there we go.
Yeah.
Because his last name is really long.
Van Wijngaarden.
Yeah.
But like,
his voice is fantastic.
It's a very recognizable MGMT song, but it's a very standard collaboration in the sense that, like, this is a new work. The Avalanches called up MGMT and they're like, hey, yo, this is us want to do. And like, it ended up working out. But it's a very deliberate thing that happens through all the songs that, like, the Avalanches said, this is not really a Plunderphonics album in the same way that Since I Left You was.
Yeah,
and
it definitely is.
Wildfly was a departure because, put blankly, sampling music takes a lot of work and it's a lot of clearing and you have to like pick over how it wants to sound. Now you can just play some live instruments, sample things here and there, get some artists to come on, and then it's just much more concisely what you want. And
I need to see what part Johnny Marr does, because there's no guitar in here, but I don't know if he's playing bass or not. Which could be the case, because Johnny Marr is the guitarist of the Smiths. For those of you who don't know who Johnny Marr is, I don't know, you don't know who he is, but anyways, so it's interesting. I need to look up that part, but this is the Divine Chord is such a good song. I love it. I love it a lot.
Yes.
So this sucked me into the album. I'm like, all right, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. And again, like, the album is very, like, a lot of the other Avalanches albums are very more fast-paced, and this is airy, and
it's what I like.
A little bit sad.
It almost reminds me of, like, the XX or a couple other stuff I've listened to this year. That is that little bit more airy style of electronic music. After Divine Chord, you have Solitary Ceremonies, which is a little bridge between Divine Chord and Interstellar Love, and they have Interstellar Love with Leon Bridges. And as much as I like Divine Chord, this is my favorite song on the album.
Really?
100%.
Interstellar Love?
100%. This was the only song I accidentally listened to outside of the album, because they only did like one thing, like, you know how we try not to listen to for Audioface, but this came on one of my indie channels on Sirius XM, and I was like, this song is ridiculously good. What is it? I looked and I was like, the Avalanche is like, fuck! I didn't want to listen to this until I listened to the album. Damn it! And I didn't listen to it again. I was like, so I was waiting for this week, and I was like, I can't. So I listened to it on like Wednesday. I was like, I need my heroin right now. And Interstellar Love. Oh, this is everything I like in electronic. It's some of my favorite sounds of electronic music into one song. So it's fantastic.
It's very like soft in the middle because it feels like there's gonna be a build up, but it's just like this.
It's
really
not.
Kind of
It's
soft,
just like it's super chill within it. It's just like that perfect like drive, like groove too. You're happy, you're content. Like it's a really good song. I love it.
Yeah. Ghost Story Part 2's little interlude, also using some of the Arono and Leon Bridges like sessions, so you're getting
some of the sound and
pseudo Plunderphonics kind of style. You get into Reflecting Light, which is a really nice soulful song that almost reminds me of, like, again, a very mellow Odessa.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, which is nice how they're able to play to that like sort of big
I love the
EDM.
vocal. I love the vocalists in this song a lot too.
Yeah. It's really beautiful.
The beat and everything is just, it's really good. And after that, you have Career Waves, again, another little bridge into The Sun with two N's.
Yes.
Which is with Perry Farrell. This is where they start to experiment with a little bit more disco beats, that funk groove beats, and
which is very much why I like the Avalanches. When they do that's very fun.
It's like, okay, I love this. So you start the first half of the album is more of that like experimental airy side of electronic, and now you're getting more into the funkness of the album too, and it's just like this is like you can hear some of the 70s samples that are in this mixed with kind of the chiller beats at the beginning of the album too, so it's like a perfect little thing to put if you want more disco. Great segue into it.
We Go On continues that like bass heavy disco vibe, at least the beat as well. It's really nice with that Cola Boy and Mick Jones kind of like
fantastic
backdrop. It's really beautiful stuff here, and there's so much range. You're still like kind of kept guessing. It's the experience of an Avalanches album, and like Avalanches albums are truly experiences. Oliver and I talked about that a lot in the episode. Make sure you check that out. But it is just so nice to hear everything kind of come together. There's different instruments and different things throughout every song, but everything still sounds very Avalanches. It still sounds like those sort of like early 2000s beats that are chopped up and sampled with those kind of crunchy drums over the top the entire time. It's amazing to, especially with a Plunderphonics band, still be able to maintain cohesion over 2 decades and 3 albums.
Yeah, which is crazy. You guys saw on IMG, another little interlude into Until Daylight Comes, this is where I call the taiko part of the album, where it's just that really slow, even more airy parts of the first album, and a lot more like experimentation into it too.
Yeah.
So a lot more of like random kind of sounds here or there, a little bit more vocal stuff, a little bit more like talking stuff. And then after that, you got Wherever You Go with Jamie XX, Nina Cherry, and Calypso.
It's a hell of a track.
Which is, it's this track grew on me. The first time I listened to it, there's a lot of sounds in it. That bottom half of it, where it gets like really fun, almost like a housey garage beat. I'm like, ooh, okay, now we're talking. So it's just good.
I mean, I like to me, it's everything I love about an Avalanches song. It's my favorite on the album. It's one of the ones we heard as a single, which I was like, oh, I gotta stop. But it's weird how Avalanches songs, they're technically not supposed to be like very human or emotional, because it's like you're taking things from all these different places. But they're very thoughtfully crafted in that way to fit these sort of messages. So Wherever You Go kind of sounds like the last song you hear as you're on like a solo mission blasting out into space.
Yeah.
It's like, this is supposed to make you think of like mankind and humans.
And then the next song, Music Makes Me High, is a polar opposite. This is like you're straight up in the club, just dancing, having your drink on, just like having a grand old time, just like chill. You're just bopping your head. Like it's a funny song to have right after Wherever You Go. It's a good,
and they transition together.
Because they transition together, and it's good because you have that like, you feel like you're going out with Wherever You Go, and then Music Makes Me High, it like brings you back to reality. It like sets you in. Sometimes, you get that feeling of, that euphoric feeling of when you're daydreaming and you kind of like escape, and then you get set back to reality. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, even with like throughout the entire album, and again with like Wherever You Go being part of what I love about the Avalanches, is that the transitions even within the song are my favorites. The fact that it goes from this like very soft sort of like crooning like lullaby ballad to this housey dance thing, and then back and forth and back and forth, and then before you know it, you're in that other song with Music Makes Me High. It's just like a very wild ride. You get into Pink Champagne, which was going to be the title of the album, until the Avalanches decided it sounded too much like Drake.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That's fucking hilarious. And I love you guys for that, because on God, fuck Drake. And after that, Pink Champagne, little interlude, you have Take Care in Your Dreaming with Denzel Carey, Tricky, and Sampa the Great, which is
such a good pairing.
Which is just like out of nowhere. I'm just like, whoa, all right. Now we get into like straight up experimental trap in this, and it's such a good
pairing.
It's a really, really good song. This is my thing with trap. I love it when outside producers make trap. Like with Vince Staples, when Sophie made parts of Yeah Right with Vince Staples. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it when EDM mixers and other producers come into trap, because that's when you really get to push it forward. And this is such a good song.
So good. I want to see more Sampa the Great and Denzel Curry for sure.
100%.
More in my veins. And I can just keep going through these songs.
Overcome more of that like beautiful like funk groove stuff with a really cool chime beat in the middle of it. Right after, which is a great song. Right after Take Care in Your Dreaming, Gold Sky after that with Kurt Vile is. It just has like an acoustic guitar part. It has more of that airy, almost taiko sounding stuff, but his vocals a little bit more prevalent.
The end of Avalanches albums always are kind of like land you at a nice sort of blissful place, and the context is always different. With Since I Love You, it's like a love context. With Wildflower, it's a little all over the place. And with this, it's almost sort of that like being put to rest, like kind of resting place thing. Even with Dial D for Devotion with Karen O, Experimental and Wild is like, not wild per se, but just like very much like anti-music and like not much in it.
And there's something that listened to this song, I had to pause it because I never thought they would sample this. This is Born to Lose. There's a Steve Reich composition of electric guitar called Electric Counterpoints, and there's 3 parts of it. Johnny Greenwood plays this a lot on his solo gigs. And Born to Lose, you know, like guitar part in Born to Lose?
Yeah.
That is sampling Steve Reich's Electric Counterpoint. That is Electric Counterpoint, I believe that is 2, the middle part.
Wow.
So it's either 2 or 3. And no, sorry, it's 3 because it's the ending part, because it's when you're looping the guitar. It's 11 loops of a guitar. And they're sampling that in Born to Lose and made it into a beat. And I just sat there and I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, there's no way like they put electric counterpoint in this. That is the randomest random song of all to put into Born to Lose. And it's so cool.
I think this is the Radiohead Reddit, and it's Johnny's exact cover. So that was the one that was...
Wait, they put Johnny's in here? Actually, like, Johnny was sampled in it.
Yeah. So it's Johnny Greenwood playing that one there.
Johnny Greenwood playing Steve Reich's Electric Counterpoint in Born to Lose from the Avalanches. That is 18 levels Audioface, like, love deep of, like, holy shit, there is a lot in this. Because that's when I heard it, I sat there, I was like, holy fuck, they're playing Electric Counterpoint. That's Johnny, though, so Electric Counterpoint.
Yes. And so, like, again, there's still a little bit of sampling in this album. They're still taking little bits and pieces here. They're still
Why couldn't we release this, like, 2 months ago? Just for that goddamn song, so then I could have, like, nominated this for, like, everything of the year, just for that little bit. I mean, technically still can, but it's hard because I like things to grow on me more.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, this album's ridiculous. And then, sorry, moving on from my little thing, you got Music is the Light with Cornelius and Kelly Moran.
I love Kelly Moran.
Kelly Moran.
Yeah.
Really good.
Again, just really nice pairings, really beautiful voices. You're letting the album end. And Weightless is just like this sort of like Morse code.
Yeah, exactly. Just everyone boop boop boops.
Yeah.
Beep boop ups, which is kind of fun to have.
Yeah, but it's, again, like it's a nice sort of ending, and it sort of ties in the motif again of like, we will always love you. Like, death
so
is
by the way,
like,
scratch the Divine Chord for me, my favorite, Born to Lose, because if I did not know that it was Johnny's exact sample of Electric Counterpoint. So Born to Lose is my favorite.
Yeah, this is
very like tied with the Divine Chord.
Yeah, this is the chord packing episode for a reason, so we can definitely pack the chords.
Yes,
in that case.
Interstellar Love. Sorry.
Yeah, incredible album. Goddamn wonderful, like, across the board. I love listening to it.
It's crazy.
It's one of the few albums I can actually listen to like while I'm sleeping, and it's really nice because my second listen.
You know what? Okay, I think I brought this point up on Audioface, where sometimes I fall asleep to music, and the next time I listen to it, it like sounds completely different.
Yeah, you have.
It's something I don't understand, and I actually want an audio doctor, somebody to explain that to me one day.
If you're a brain doctor.
Please, because it is something that I want to understand more. But anyways, this did the very rare thing where I fell asleep to it too. Sounds the same. They're very, very rare. There's only a couple of things that I can listen to, like my favorite musical artist I can listen to in that, and this album did that too, which is crazy. Moving on to hair dye, our Arbitrary Squirrels hair dye brands. This doesn't even need hair dye. You're just good.
Yeah,
your hair naturally. This is that black dog crack, or this is you're that Spaniard that has like that silver hair that naturally goes, and all the women are like, that's a sexy Spaniard right there with like the bushy eyebrows and shit. And you're just like, you accept for who you are. You still have that curly chest hair coming out too, and you're like, this is who I am. Fuck it, I don't need any hair dye. Damn it.
The original Dos Equis guy.
There we go. The original Dos Equis guy. Exactly like that.
Jonathan Goldsmith, who is, by the way, Jewish, not at all even Latin. But, like, imagine if he was Spaniard. And, like, we would do that. But no, yeah, it's an incredible goddamn album, and I'm very glad to be doing it.
This is why I love this podcast. This is why I love this fucking podcast. Because I would have listened to this maybe, like, a year like from now or something. It would have popped up in some of my stuff. Yeah.